City boy, city boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And today, we get to talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, okay? This video is 13 of Triple H's and WWE's greatest booking disasters, all right? Now, in this video, we're going to talk about a couple of things, all right? Not only are we going to talk about people that, definitely should have been pushed, but we're also going to talk about people that Triple H has tried to push, but has objectively just failed at pushing, all right? Because there's a lot of people on this list where Triple H has been trying to get these people over. He's been doing his damnedest to get people over. But because he's not a writer, because he's just a wrestling mark for his own nutsack, all right, he has done a horrible job at attempting to get these people over, all right? So that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be 13. We're going to start from the top of, we're going to start from number 13, as opposed to how we normally do it, starting at number 1, all right? And go ahead, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You feel what I'm saying? And we're going to go ahead, jump right on into it. Now, we're going to start at number 13. Number 13, it could have been higher on the list, but it's not his worst disaster as far as what, the fan reaction and things of that nature. So, number 13 is Ria Ripley. All right? Hunter has been Ria Ripley is over. Do not get me wrong. But in the eyes of most people at this point, unless you're one of the guys paying $15,000 for some front row seats at WrestleMania, you see through the bullshit already, right? You see through the bullshit already. Rhea Ripley, she has potential, right? She has potential to be one of the biggest women's stars of all time. All right. It's just is what it is. She is over like Rover with the marks. All right. She is over. She is. But Triple H and his booking of Rhea Ripley has made her almost irrelevant. Right. She's almost irrelevant. Let's just talk about her first title reign for a quick second here. Her first title reign was over a year, well over a year. And it was ass. All right. There's no feuds, no storylines that you specifically remember from her year-long title reign that you can look back to and be like, yeah, that was great. That was like that was really like Rhea's coming out party right there. That's how she cemented her reign as champ. And there was just none of that. There was just none of that. And we go on to her whole storyline with Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. And that whole thing was dragged out for fucking 6, 7, 8 months, damn near. Whole thing just dragged out. And I get that she had to get to a point where she was fully cleared and all this stuff, but it was just week after week after week of the same promo. I got to give a shout out to my boy C-Jax. I got to take back the title that I never lost. Yeah, take back the title. That's all she was saying for weeks and weeks on top of months. All right. And it was just hard for people to stay interested in that whole thing. So yeah, she's still over like Rover with all the marks and such. But for the casuals, we really don't give a fuck about Rhea Ripley at this point, because she's done nothing. She said nothing. She has no character, no characteristics about her that make her interesting. All she does, she comes out in all black, purple, and all this extra shit, and she just jobs people out. That's it. That's all she does. She doesn't have anything. There's things that are special about her, but she doesn't have anything about her that speaks to the casual audience. All right. So that's number 13 on the list. Number 12 on the list, we're going to talk about Seth Rollins. We have to talk about Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins, he is another one that had a year-long title reign. All right. Or it wasn't a full year, but it was pretty close to a year-long title reign. And that title reign was ass. All right. That title reign was ass. Okay. And the reason why it was ass is, like I've said many times before, Seth Rollins had damn near a year-long title reign. And yes, he was a workhorse champion, right? He was out there wrestling every week, if not every week, every other week, and that's great. That's what you want to see out of your champion. That is awesome. The problem is that every single time Seth Rollins was in the ring, it didn't matter if it was with Shinsuke, didn't matter if it was with Ilya Dragunov or Braun Breaker, didn't matter if it was against Sheamus, didn't matter if it was against Finn Balor, didn't matter. Every single person that he went up against, he was this fucking close to being jobbed out every single time. 50-50 booked, 15 to 20 to 30 minute match. All right. And this is an issue because if I'm looking at a champion, not just somebody coming up and trying to get their stripes, this, that, and the other, we're looking at the champion right now. The champion should be jobbing people out. Maybe not every single match. I'm not saying every single match he has to job somebody out. But there are times where a champion has to put his motherfucking foot down and show why he's the big dog in the yard. And he never got that. He never got that opportunity to show why he was actually the big dog in the yard. It was almost like he was given the consolation prize, which is what the world heavyweight champion is at this point, right? It is a consolation prize because Roman had the undisputed champion for so fucking long. And he was like, all right, let me just put another championship over there on Raw so that way they have something else to fight over. And that's been booked horribly as well. But since Seth Rollins got the title, he never got a chance to show why he got the title, like why he deserved that title. Because according to his matches, everybody else that he faced was on the same level as him or just a step underneath. And that's not good enough if you're going to be a champion. And the reason also why I put him up here is because Seth Rollins has been the odd cuck out for 2 years in a row. For 2 years in a row, you have Seth Rollins. Like, Cody Rhodes could have gotten Randy Orton to help him out at last year's at WrestleMania 40's fucking main event against The Rock and Roman Reigns. And that would have been actually really decent, right? Obviously he was in that whole situation with Kevin Owens and Logan Paul, I believe it was. But could have switched out Randy Orton with anybody else. Logan Paul is going to have a great match with anybody. It doesn't matter, right? Randy Orton was the guy to put in that spot. But instead, what Triple H did is he booked Seth Rollins to be like fucking Cody Rhodes' little boyfriend. Like, oh, I'll help you out. It doesn't matter. I know that you whooped my ass 3 times already and that's awesome or whatever, but it's okay because I love you and I'll do this. This is for the betterment of the company. This is for the better. Instead of focusing on his own shit like a grown man, he went ahead and put his own title to the side in order to help Cody Rhodes win his title, which also further buried the World Heavyweight Championship. And now here we are again. He's fucking feuding over Paul Heyman's butt cheeks, and in a match where he has like no actual purpose. The only purpose of him being there is because fucking Triple H didn't know where else to put him. So he's like, all right, we're gonna throw you in this triple threat with Roman Reigns and CM Punk, and y'all are gonna feud over Paul Heyman's booty cheeks. That's what it is, right? So that's why That's why Seth Rollins is at number 12. We're gonna go ahead and move on to number 11. Now I don't have much to say about number 11. Number 11 is the War Raiders. Triple H has been trying to push the War Raiders for a long time now. Even back when they were still the Viking Raiders, Triple H was trying to push these guys because of how great in the ring they are. The thing about the War Raiders is that they're boring as shit. They're boring as shit. They have nothing about them that appeals to anybody. And if you're not going to be appealing to the eyes of the fans, you could at the very least, be entertaining. All right, Jelly Roll is not a fucking a beautiful man, right? He's a fucking 500-pound fucking big grizzly motherfucker, ugly motherfucker in the face, right? But he's entertaining. That's why people like him, right? Mick Jagger, ugly motherfucker, but he's entertaining. That's why people loved him, right? These are just examples. Like, if you're going to be an ugly son of a bitch and you're going to be fat You have to be entertaining, be charismatic, be something, have some kind of personality about you. But just being good in the ring, like I say all the time, this shit is fake, so we don't care about the flippy dippy moves that you can do in the ring, all right? What we care about is what kind of entertainment value that you bring to the table, and Triple H doesn't know how to book characters, so therefore Triple H has buried the War Raiders, and they never even really got a chance in this era because Triple H's booking is as such. Number 10, we have Mei Ying. Mei Ying, the crazy thing is I actually like Mei Ying. I actually like Mei Ying. I think that she could be, she could have a better character. Most definitely. Because she has no character at this point, right? I think the whole HBIC thing that she was trying to get off the ground, I think that would have been good for her character. I think that would have been a great character for her. But like I said, in the last reason, since Triple H has no idea how to book characters, right? How to write for characters, that was something that she just picked up and then she just dropped it immediately. Probably because Triple H didn't feel like it was going to get over or whatever the case might be. But the HBIC thing, I thought that was going to be good for her. But instead, what does Triple H do? He has her go out there, match after match after match after match, trying to put her over as like the next fucking, I don't know, hardcore Holly or the female Mick Foley or some shit like that. And that's not going to work. She has to be her own person and she has to be entertaining. All right? She has to be entertaining. And she also needs a better finisher. The eat defeat, come on now, let's throw that shit smooth out the window. But her reasons are very similar to the War Raiders' reasons. She just doesn't have a character to her, so it doesn't matter how many matches that you put her in. She's always going to be at the bottom of the list when it comes to what people are checking for. That's why nobody cares when she comes out. It's sad to see, because I would do some things to Mei Ying. I'd do some real nasty things to Mei Ying, all right? Now let's move on. Number 9, we have Austin Theory. Austin Theory just got dealt the worst hand in the deck. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you, man. Austin Theory got dealt a tragic hand. Once Vince McMahon was gone, Triple H saw fit to do anything in his power to completely bury Austin Theory. Austin Theory was jobbing out for like 30 weeks in a row. Just jobbing the fuck out. Then he gets put into a tag team with another jobber in Grayson Waller. And since then, like I said, like they've just been getting jobbed out. They're a jobber tag team. They're hardly on TV anymore. It's just sad to see. A couple of years ago, you have fucking John Cena in a match with Austin Theory, where Austin Theory goes over on John Cena, right? And like that's a foundation for any career. It doesn't matter how old John Cena is. But you disrespect John Cena, right? You disrespect John Cena and you put John Cena in a position where he looks like even more of a jobber, because now Austin Theory is a complete jobber. And John Cena got beat by that guy, right? John Cena got beat by that guy once upon a time. You look at who Austin Theory is now, losing against fucking the Usos and shit like that, losing against Jimmy and Jay Uso in a tag team match, and you tell people, yeah, that guy, he beat John Cena. They're not gonna fucking believe you. You gotta show them the proof of WrestleMania 39. Like, yeah, this nigga, like he jobbed John Cena out, right? So Austin Theory, he just got dealt a shit hand. He was supposed to be Vince's next big guy. And Triple H, he is absolutely not having it, all right? He wants to push Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa and them. But we move on to somebody else who made John Cena look like a complete and utter jobber. Solo Sakoa. Now, Solo Sakoa came in and he had great potential. He had great fucking potential, man. He's bland to me. He's always been bland to me. But I always felt like if he gets a good character behind him, if they continue to push him as that enforcer role, as somebody that you cannot fuck with, right? Then maybe someday he can grow on me. But what did Triple H do? So he had Solo Sikoa in this enforcer role where he was damn near undefeated for like a year like 6 months to a year, however long he had been on the main roster at that point. He completely dropped his Street Fighter gimmick from from NXT, which was actually working for him. But he completely dropped that, came in as a silent guy for some reason, and he just helped out Roman Reigns and the rest of the bloodline. And he has Solo Sikoa job out John Cena. The match between Solo Sikoa and John Cena wasn't even fucking close. Not even fucking close at all. It was so sad to watch John Cena get fucking spiked fucking 22, 23 times right in the middle of the ring, then just get fucking pinned. And this is a great foundation, once again, for Solo Sikoa. And what does Triple H do as a result of jobbing out John Cena? He has him go on a 50-fight losing streak, jobbing out to complete, absolute, and utter jobbers for 50 weeks straight. It would have been one thing if one guy beat him, two guys beat him, but everybody that got fed to Solo Sikoa, or everybody got Solo Sikoa got fed to everybody. Everybody got around with him. Solo Sikoa was basically Bonnie Blue last year. Like, everybody got a piece of that ass and jobbed him straight out. And it was just crazy to watch. So that even further fucked John Cena off. John Cena, I don't know, like, he had to be pissed off. Had to be pissed off about this whole situation. Because there's no way. I put over fucking Austin Theory and I put over Solo Sikoa, and you job them out immediately. Shit's just fucking crazy. And then what does Triple H do with Solo Sikoa from there? He tries to put him into the tribal chief role. Right? Now, this could have worked if he hadn't just jobbed out 50 times in a row. This could have worked. Maybe he obviously doesn't have anywhere near as much charisma as Roman Reigns, but that's fine if he's booked correctly. If he was booked correctly. If he had gone on a 50-fight winning streak after beating John Cena, nobody could touch Solo Sikoa. He's out here jobbing everybody out. Then when Roman Reigns loses, it makes sense that Solo Sikoa is pissed off at him about losing, because we don't lose in this family. Then it makes sense. Then his turn makes sense, or not his turn, but him snapping, it actually makes sense, and the whole thing could go great after that. But he had to fucking climb back uphill with fucking cement blocks on his fucking toes, right? One on each toe, trying to get back up that hill, trying to get all the momentum back that he already lost from being on a 50-fight losing streak, trying to make people believe that he's the tribal chief. And it just didn't work. And now we're a Solo Sikoa. Not even on the fucking card for this WrestleMania, even though he carried SmackDown for 6 to 8 months. It's absolute garbage. Absolute nonsense. That's why Solo Sikoa is right up there. And next up, we got to come down to fucking Carmelo Hayes, number 6, Carmelo Hayes. Now, Carmelo Hayes, right? Carmelo Hayes, I already had the feeling. I liked Carmelo Hayes back in NXT. I thought Carmelo Hayes had a great character about him, right? Went from a babyface to a heel, and it was a great story arc when him and Trick Williams finally came to their head, and he ended up dropping the title to Trick Williams. I thought it was all a great story. I thought it was a great story, but I had a feeling. I had a fucking feeling that he was not going to do well on the main roster. Now, he's great in the ring. He has charisma about him, right? He actually has some character about him that he tries to get over every single time when he's given, his 10 to 15 seconds that he's given by Triple H. But Triple H, as we know, he does not like singles black stars. It just is what it is at this point. I don't think there's any arguing it at this point. Here we are at WrestleMania, right? And the only black men on the card is fucking New Day, and they're in a tag team, right? So hopefully they win against the War Raiders. We don't know at this point, but it is what it is. That's the best that black men can get in Triple H's era is fucking, undercarding on a pay-per-view. Like, undercarding on a pay-per-view and going for some tag team titles, right? That's the best that you can get in this era. But Carmelo Hayes, he actually had that. He has something special about him. I hope that Triple H gets fired here soon, because Carmelo Hayes could be doing so much more. He could be doing so much more than being some underling to The Miz. All right. Now we move on to Carmelo Hayes was number 7. Excuse me. Number 6, Chad Gable. Now this one hurts. Everybody remembers this jobbing. All right. Everybody remembers Chad Gable caught absolute fire last year. Fire. He was on flames. All right. He could do no wrong. Chad Gable is great in the ring. He's super charismatic. He's funny, right? He just has that it factor about him. Chad Gable. We all know what happened to Chad Gable. He caught fire when he was in his feud with Gunther. Everybody wanted him to beat Gunther, right? Everybody wanted him to beat Gunther. But he ends up jobbing out to Gunther like 2 or 3 times in a row. And at that point, everybody knew it was over. And then Chad Gable turns heel. So then people, they get more hype. They're like, oh, snap. Okay, well, he's heel now. So maybe maybe Triple H is going to book him better now. Maybe Triple H is going to book him to, I don't know, job out Sami Zayn. And then he's going to finagle his way into one last title match with Gunther, right? No. That's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. Instead, what happens is he turns heel. He gets jobbed out by Sami Zayn. He gets jobbed out by literally everybody else. And now here we are a year later. This motherfucker has a goddamn lucha mask on. Excuse me, Heavenly Father. He has a lucha mask on, right? And he's jobbing out. Well, he hasn't jobbed yet, but he's going to be jobbing out to Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. And he's El Americano Grande. He's named after a damn coffee at Starbucks. It's so bad. The lengths that Triple H went to absolutely bury Chad Gable. Maybe it's because he reminds him of Kurt Angle too much, right? And Kurt Angle was just a much better fucking superstar than Triple H in every regard when he was a wrestler. And I don't think Triple H likes guys that remind him of people that were better than him. That just is what it is. So Chad Gable, number 6. Terrible how they did, my boy. And let's move on to number 4, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Okay. Now, Bobby Lashley, when he came back to the WWE, he was pushed as that guy, right? Head to head with Brock Lesnar, that kind of guy. He was being pushed as that kind of guy because he had earned that while he was out, right? He earned that. He went to MMA, right? And I think he's like 15-3 in his MMA career, which is ridiculously respectable, right? Like that's crazy to think, right? That Bobby Lashley went and just put the beats on so many different people. But the problem is that when Triple H got into power, Bobby Lashley was immediately put into the undercard. Like, Bobby Lashley got jobbed out in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, and then from there, it was all downhill. He got put smooth smack dab into the undercard. He got teamed up with the Street Profits, which could have been good. It could have been good. Hurt Business type thing, 2.0 is what they were trying to push it as. But like I've said many times before, since Triple H has no idea how to book characters, right? He just has them go out there and have matches. And the whole storyline that they were pushing, it didn't make sense at all in the first place. Bobby Lashley, one week, he's fucking going out and shitting on the Street Profits, telling them that they just don't want it, that they're just not good enough to handle what it takes to be champion, even though this motherfucker's not champion. I don't know what Triple H's fucking what his deal is with non-champions being like, you could be a champion. Like, just shut the fuck up. But that's what it was. That was the whole thing. And then they not even really turn heel the next week, but they just do some slightly heelish shit. And then here comes Bobby Lashley back crying again, talking about, oh, well, you finally did it. You finally made it. So Triple H fails at booking them to be baby faces. Then he tries to turn them back heel. He failed at booking them as heels. Then he tries to turn them back to babyface when they weren't getting over with the crowd because Triple H is booking them horribly, not writing anything for them that can make people actually care about this group. He turns them back babyface, and he has them fight the Final Testament. And he has them job out the Final Testament. So that's good, right? That's good. But like I said, this whole thing with the Final Testament, it didn't make any sense. Or even if it made any sense, it didn't have any impact because all they did was brawl every week. That's all they did. They came out, somebody said some words, then the Final Testament would come out. The Final Testament come out, they say some words, Karrion Kross says some words, and then they get jobbed out. It's been bad. It's been fucking horrible. AOP is a fucking a bonus on this list because of how fucking horrible they were booked. But since then, Bobby Lashley obviously has left the building because he could not deal with the absolute incompetence that was going on over here in WWE. And then the Street Profits, we know is like the Street Profits, they jobbed out for like 9 months straight trying to get to those tag team titles. And they got to the point where nobody cared about them. And then once nobody cared about them, here comes Triple H with the tag team titles. And now, like I said, nobody cares about them. So who cares, right? They got the tag team titles, so that's cool. They're not going to defend on WrestleMania, though. So who cares? They're defending tonight at SmackDown. Make sure y'all stay tuned for the review. Now, we move on to number 4. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is was Vince's last great project. Roman Reigns was Vince's last great project. Vince was trying for years to get Roman Reigns over. Years. And failed time after time after time. But Vince McMahon had the feeling. He knew that Roman Reigns would be the future of the company. He knew it, so he kept at it. And eventually, when Roman Reigns came back as the tribal chief, he finally got over with the fans. Finally. He finally got over, and he started doing the best work of his career. Which means that, once again, Vince McMahon is right, everybody else is wrong, kiss a dick, right? Roman Reigns was made to look like an absolute unit during his tribal chief run, especially during the first 2 years when Vince McMahon was in charge of his booking. He was made to look like a legit unit, stacking Edge and Daniel Bryan, just having like that was some crazy fucking shit to see, right? Roman Reigns was being booked like an absolute monster, and it only makes sense that, you know, a monster, he ends up getting greedy, right? He ends up losing some of his edge, this, that, and the other. And that's fine. I get that. That could be a great storyline. But how Roman Reigns has been booked since he's come back from losing his title. First of all, he loses his title and then he takes 6 months off. You look like a bitch. He didn't come back and immediately ask for his title. I knew he was going to come back and ask for the Ula Fala, and that's fine. That's great, or whatever. But then he has to fucking go on this long 5-month feud with the old or the new bloodline, right? And he gets jobbed out to Solo Sakoa. Like, so in the last 4 years, Roman Reigns has been pinned twice. And that's by Cody Rhodes and Solo Sakoa. And 2 of those pinnings happened like 8 months between each other, and those 8 months like hardly count because 6 months of those he wasn't even in the fucking business. He wasn't even in the he was in the company, but he was taken off. So it's like, he looks like a bitch for taking off. Then he comes back, gets jobbed out week after week after week, getting beat the fuck up in the middle of the ring by the new bloodline. Then he goes, does the whole War Games thing and all that. But since then, all he's done is just been made to look like just half of who he was before. He's basically on the same level with everybody else. He had a 30-minute match with Solo Sikoa. Like a 30-minute tribal combat match with Solo Sikoa, where Solo Sikoa was putting the fucking beats on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns should have came back, fucking jobbed out Solo, jobbed out Jacob, jobbed out Tama Tonga, jobbed out Tonga Loa, and that should have just been that. Give me my Ula Fala back. Y'all little bitches fall in line. Hey, Cody Rhodes, I want my rematch. Cody Rhodes could beat him. That would have been good for Cody. Might have made for an interesting story for Cody, as opposed to what we've been given. But no, Roman Reigns to this fucking day still even a year later, at the fucking WrestleMania, he's not going to get his rematch. Because Triple H knows that Roman Reigns is a much bigger star than Cody Rhodes. And because of that, he refuses to put them in another match together, especially at this point, because they know that fucking Cody Rhodes, he'll just get fucking booed out of the building going up against Roman Reigns. And that brings me to my next guy. LA Knight, number 3, LA Knight. LA Knight, we know LA Knight caught absolute fire last year. This is when I because I always had I always knew who Eli Drake was, right? I was always a fan of Eli Drake. I saw his promos on the interwebs like most people, and I thought, shit, this guy's really fucking good. I loved the dummy button. I really wish that he would bring that back, right? Or Triple H would allow him to bring it back. He probably has pitched it a couple of times, but Triple H is no, it's going to get you 2 over. This is not, it's not, I love the Eli Drake. Even though I don't watch TNA and all the other shit, I've seen his shit and I thought he was good. And then he comes over, he turns into Max Dupree and all this stuff. And, he just turns into a fucking jobber, basically, managing the maximum male models, right? But then he catches fire as LA Knight. Exactly like I knew he would if he came and he did that same thing or a similar thing that he did when he was Eli Drake. Caught absolute fire. And Triple H did everything that he could to quash that fire. All right, he had him jobbing out week after week, right? He would come out, make him come out and try to oversaturate us with his promos, right? And he would just have him losing. But then, because the fans were still behind him, he was like, all right, fuck it. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put him in a world title match. I'm gonna give him Roman Reigns. I'm gonna feed him to Roman Reigns, which we all knew was gonna happen. He was going to get fed to Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns at that time, we all knew that he wasn't losing until WrestleMania. Everybody knew this, which is another indictment on Triple H's fucking era, that we just know that people aren't gonna lose their titles at unless it's especially if it's the big title, if it's the WWE champion, they're not losing unless it's at WrestleMania or SummerSlam. It's just not gonna happen. But there was that, right? It is what it is. LA Knight got jobbed out to Roman Reigns, came out, got jobbed out in the next in the fucking Fatal 4-Way that he was in. Then he went on to, job out to he jobbed out AJ Styles, and then he just got given the fucking US title. And at this point, it's I don't want to say it's too late. I think he still could break into the main event, most definitely. But at this point, how much time does he really have left as a 40-plus-year-old man? How much time does he really have left? How much longer is he going to want to do this shit for? He's been doing this shit for a long time. Finally got a chance. Got jobbed out relentlessly multiple times. And now he's a 2-time fucking United States champion, about to get jobbed out to another Samoan, right? It is what it is. This is one of the biggest missed opportunities that of Triple H's era, because he could have shown and proved that he was the guy that could work on the fly, that he listened to the fans, right? He talks about how, I listen to the arena. I have my focus group. It's in the arena. They're standing up. They're eating all over the place, right? But every fucking week, LA Knight's getting the biggest, grandest pops of anybody in the company, including Cody Rhodes at the time. Getting the biggest pops out of everybody. But he didn't listen to the fans then. He didn't give a shit about his focus group then, right? So we move on to number 2. Now, number 2 is probably the worst example. Probably the worst example of Triple H's booking. And that would be the Wyatt 6. The Wyatt 6. How could you fuck this up? How could you fuck up the Wyatt 6? All right? This doesn't make sense to me in any regard. All you had to do was make them a group of Undertakers, basically, an Undertaker type group. Some people that come in, they cause havoc, they whoop ass here and there, right? But they cannot get jobbed out. It just cannot happen. They come in and whoever they're after, they lay the beats on. and whoever gets the beats laid on them, they have to be changed forever. Like, they're like, you could not, like, there is no way that I could foresee how bad Triple H is going to screw this booking up. He has them come in, kill everybody, right? First of all, 7 weeks straight, we got VHS tapes and fucking shitty promos. I won't say they were shitty, but like all of Bo Dallas's promos were great, in my opinion. But cutting mid to average promos, and then they come in, they kill everybody backstage. That's pretty much never brought up again by anybody except for Chad Gable. Chad Gable was like the only fucking logical person there at the time, right? And he jobs out Chad Gable to the Wyatt Six. All right, whatever. Okay, whatever. It's going to happen. They have to job somebody out. So I guess, Chad Gable is the one that, has to take it. So they job them out. Then from there, they go on to just fucking disappear off TV until they start feuding with the Final Testament. And they job out to the Final Testament. A group that is not over. Will never get over. Will never be over. They job out to the Final Testament. And since they've jobbed out, they had one more match where Dexter Lumis fought, like, I forget who the fuck he fought in the Final Testament. It was somebody. But ever since then, they've been off TV. It's been like 6 months since we've seen the Wyatt Six. This has to be Triple H's biggest blunder, as far as just, he was handed a layup. The marks were eating all this shit up. Didn't matter if it didn't make sense. Didn't matter if there was no logic to it. All right. The marks were eating this shit out of the palm of their hands. And that's just what it was. You have Bo Dallas come out there for his first appearance as Bo Dallas, right? As Bo Dallas. They don't try to make it seem like, oh, it could be somebody else. No, it's Bo Dallas. Everybody knows it's Bo Dallas, right? He comes out there. He gets beat the fuck up by American Made. He's just getting his ass whooped by American Made. And he just keeps popping up like he's some kind of fucking, extraterrestrial character, some kind of supernatural character. Then, just a couple months later, he loses clean in the middle of the ring to fucking AOP. And AOP ain't nowhere. They got fucking fired. Or the Final Testament. And AOP got fired. Just horrible. And number one, my favorite on the list, of course, is Cody Rhodes' title reign. Obviously, this had to make the list, because Triple H had an opportunity here. Okay, I never believed in Cody Rhodes as a WWE champion, but at least Triple H had a fresh start. He could push Cody Rhodes, and he could make Cody Rhodes at least have a good reign. Cody Rhodes has defended the champion 8 times over a year, almost 400 days. He has defended it 8 times. He's defended his championship 2 times in the last 7 months against the same dude, Kevin Owens. And he only defended his title against fucking AJ Styles, Logan Paul, and Solo Sikoa before that. That's it. That's it. That's all he's done. And since then, he's been booked as this quote-unquote workhorse. He's taken the Cena schedule and all this extra shit, and he never fights. He never does anything. He's a fucking jobber, but he's acting like he's some kind of work rate, some kind of champion who's fighting out there every week. This motherfucker doesn't fight at all. Doesn't defend his championship at all. Like I said, 2 months or 2 title defenses in the last 7 months. And this right here is just like, this is how you judge Triple H's whole, like, you can extrapolate Cody Rhodes' title reign, and you could apply it to everything else that Triple H has done over the last 2 years. Long, boring, drawn out feuds that mean nothing ultimately, because we all know what's going to happen. Everybody can fucking predict it, and it's not exciting as a result. And then fucking just meaningless title reigns, meaningless feuds, meaningless brawls, everything is fucking meaningless. And as a result, the WWE Championship is now meaningless because Triple H has failed so fucking hard at booking Cody Rhodes as at least a respectable champion. You might not like him, but you would at least have to respect him. He's failed at even doing that. And like I said, honorable mentions for this is the Final Testament because of how fucking bad they were done. They have nothing. How do you bring in Paul Ellering and fucking AOP to try to go behind what's his name, Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and then they don't do anything, right? How do you not do anything with this monster group, right? And yeah, like I said, that's my fucking 2 cents on that. All right, let me know what y'all think. Who do y'all think is Triple H's biggest blunder this year? All right, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you know, or let me know what you think. And this has been your boy, Nate the Great, back with another one. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you want to hear some more. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.